Hi guys, I'm Rachel, and today I want to update you on a couple of things I've been working on. A few things are finished that mostly everything was unfinished last time, so it's really exciting. I believe I have 4 finished objects, maybe 5, we'll see when I count, as well as I'd like to share some of my winter knitting plans because fall is almost over here in Minnesota, and I'm gonna need some warm stuff soon. And my cat's knocking stuff over. So let me get started. The first thing that I finished was my Cumulus Tee. It's been folded, so whatever. And it's this green V-neck t-shirt. I knitted this with Knitting for Olive Pure Silk and Dusty Artichoke. And it's the regular Cumulus Tee by Petite Knit. And I've had this done for about 3-ish weeks now, and I've worn it I think twice since then. And I really like the way it fits. I really like the gauge I ended up with, especially for the I-cord. I had originally knitted it in a slightly larger needle size. I think I knitted it in the 2 because I did it slightly off gauge in the first place because I didn't have 3mm needles. Anyway, I went back and redid it in size 1, and I love how it looks. I like wearing it. I like the drape of the fabric. If I had to share some thoughts on this, I think I was influenced. And while this is a lovely shirt, I don't know, could you stop please? Thank you. I don't know if it was worth the time it took to knit it. I know a lot of people really like it, but I'm I spent all that time on this, and then at the end of it, all I got was a t-shirt, which is a relatively casual item of clothing, and it's really pretty, and the neckline looks smashing, it highlights your collarbones. Get down. Meow. Get down. It's the mantelpiece. We love the mantle. She does this when she wants to eat. So yeah, it was really not very fun to make. I think the top yoke part was fun. I liked watching the V-neck come together and the sleeves appear, and I liked the shaping of the raglans, but that body was yikes. I do have about this much more of my 4th ball of the Dusty Artichoke Pure Silk, and I think I might do a pressed flowers handkerchief with it, with some white fingering weight sock yarn, just whatever. And I think that'd be really pretty with the flowers in green. Maybe I'll do that in the spring, but I'm kind of intending to set this aside for now. I usually like to knit with my scraps right when I finish with them, because then I'm still used to the yarn and the needles, and it works up really satisfyingly, because then I've used every scrap of the yarn and I never have to think about it again. But I have some winter things I want to make, so I'm setting the silk yarn aside for now. So that's my Cumulus Tee. Oh, and I think I knitted the size extra small because I knew that my gauge was slightly larger than it was supposed to be, because I used the US 3 needles instead of 3mm needles, but I don't think that hurt it at all. And it still fits nicely. Yeah, that's my Cumulus Tee. The second thing that I finished right after that, sorry, I'll bring my basket closer, huh? The second thing that I finished was my Stella quilt cushion. It has since been blocked and it's all nice and done. I love how it turned out. This was another one where I don't know. I think I like the product enough for it to be worth the process, but I found the process a little bit frustrating. I know that I don't really like picking up stitches. I think I said this last time, so it's like on me for picking a pattern where you have to pick up a lot of stitches, but I do really like the way it looks. I love the star motif. I think it'll fit really well into my home here. Like, I have a lot of like kind of, you know, Scandi touches because that's my like family heritage. And I think it'll be really pretty on my couch. Something funny about this is that I did not want to knit the back of it, right? Because like I don't want to knit a square this size diagonally and just do nothing. I didn't want to do that. So instead I went out and bought and thrifted some pillows, hoping to just find something that matched the white color and then sew this onto the front and be done with it and have that be the pillow. But I kept liking the pillows that I bought, being like, actually, I really like this and I want to keep it. That was this one. I really like it and I want to keep it the way it is. I think it looks good in here. And my kitty loves lying on this like velvet stuff. So I was like, I got to keep that pillow the way it is. So I bought 2 pillows and went through that same process with both and just like thrifted them, you know? And then I was like, this is going to keep happening, isn't it? So then instead, I decided to just buy some cotton canvas from Michael's craft store. And I have some sewing experience, both hand and machine. I think I'm going to do this by hand because it's just a square and the sewing machine kind of stresses me out. So I think I'm just going to, I'm planning to cut 2 squares to size for this, you know, with seam allowance and everything, and make a pillow outer on both sides. I thought about just doing one side, like a back for this, but I'm worried that having canvas on one side and like stretchy knitted fabric, some of it like superwash merino, one side will stretch out a lot more than the other. So I'm going to make it canvas on both sides and then tack down this over, I don't know, whichever side's uglier, I guess. And that will be my pillow base for this. It probably would have been easier if I just knitted it, to be honest. And then I got a cute zipper. I really wanted one with like a dark metal so that it would look really like, you know, nice and sturdy, and like I got it from like an upscale like home store versus like made it myself. So that's my zipper. This is my pillow. Depending on my rehearsal schedule for Nutcracker, I may or may not film this process because I love watching sewing videos. I think they're so satisfying. I get a little stressed out when I actually like sew stuff, but since this is a square and I'm going to hand sew it, I think it'll be fun and I think I'll enjoy making a video about it. Okay, that's my zipper, that's my fabric, that's my Stella quilt cushion. Oh, and then the yarn I used for this, I used Malabrigo Rios Undyed for the white, and then I used Sirdar Country Classic in some assorted colors here for the star motif, and I did 2 dark brown parallelograms, 2 duck's egg blue parallelograms, 2 coral, and 2 navy. And I cleaned up all my little corners from picking stuff up, woven all my ends, and now the back is a little messy because the cat's been getting into it. So I might just like have to store this pillow face down when I'm not using it because I think she'll like rip it up because she loves how it smells because of the it's really interesting actually. The Malabrigo yarn is like obviously really processed, it's really smooth, it's really superwash, but it definitely like it definitely smells sheepy. So the cat's I just have one cat. My cat and my dog both love it, and they want to chew it up. Or the dog does. The cat wants to like scratch it up. I don't know. Speaking of chew up, I have something else to show you here in a minute. My second to last finished object is these like self-drafted, just a tube leg warmers. Like there's nothing fancy going on here. I just wanted some leg warmers that go below the knee to the ankle, because I have a lot of like longer ones, and I have my Apala compression like ankle thingies, if you know, you know. And so I just wanted some like nice knee to ankle, like classic ballet leg warmers. And so for these, I used the remainder of, or most of the remainder of my twill from knitting my oversized seasons cardigan that I've showed here on this podcast before. I used almost all of 2 balls, and these both started whole, like this was a whole skein. And then I just knitted to just under my kneecap and then stopped, because one thing I know about this yarn is that it stretches like nobody's business. Do not mid-project block this if you have to match length on the other side, because if you have to like unravel and rip it back, then the yarn is going to like stretch like this, and you're never going to be able to figure out how long it's supposed to be. I've had to reblock that cardigan I knitted so many times because I did a mid-project block, and one of the sleeves I decided to unravel and make shorter because, again, this yarn stretches so much. And I did that, but then when I re-knitted the end of the sleeve with the yarn, that sleeve didn't stretch anymore. So then when I knitted the other sleeve to the same specifications, that sleeve stretched. But the other one didn't stretch anymore because the yarn had already been blocked and stretched, if that makes sense. And so this sleeve ended up shorter than this sleeve. And it was like to the point where when I blocked it normally, this was like hanging out up here, and this was hanging out like here. So I re-blocked it and like extensively stretched this sleeve and just stretched this one a little bit. And it fits okay now, but I'm holding on to these until I'm absolutely positive, because if I decide to re-knit the end of that right sleeve, I want to have something to do that with. But if I decide not to do this, this is This is going to become like little knitted hanging stars. I recently installed a curtain rod. Oh my gosh, your dignity. I recently installed a curtain rod in my dining room, and I like how the little taupe stars look against the curtains in my bedroom. So I think like maybe these will go up there, but I don't know. Yeah, so I have 2 of these. I may or may not like write like a little free pattern for it, but honestly it's like super easy. I basically just, it'd probably be like a recipe. I just cast on, I can't remember how many stitches, it's in my phone and you're on my phone, so sorry. Knitted it up until just below my kneecap, knowing that these are going to stretch a little bit because of the yarn they're made out of. Do you want to see? I'm sorry. Do you want to see? This is the yarn. It goes like, and that's only like this much of it. Like think how much a whole sweater would stretch, and the fabric is stretchy structurally because of the knitting. Anyways, I cast on and bound off on the purl side, because I've heard that makes edges roll just a little bit less, and I wanted like a little bit of a roll to it, but not too much, just because I think that's like a really like classic stockinette leg warmers look. And then I embroidered these little flowers on here, just kind of white on white, kind of randomly. And then I used I think it's called Lazy Daisy stitch. And since this yarn is so thick and so dense, like even just one time of the yarn like going around the petal still stands out a lot and looks really good. And I think they're cute. They kind of look like frosted, and they keep my calves warm. No complaints. Yeah, so those are my Twill Legwarmers. I like them a lot. Okay, that's everything I have in my bin that isn't like an active plan here. I have some random needles. These are my 7s. Oh, that's because I used them for the Legwarmers. Yeah. Here's my last finished object, and this has been a labor of love for like 2 years. This is my 2nd pair I've knitted of my layer cake Legwarmers. These are a highly patterned and textured knit legwarmer that is designed to go from my ankle to high up on my leg, like up on my thigh. This is my 2nd pair of them that I've knitted, as I shared. I was just kind of freehanding the first one, then I was like, these are turning out really pretty, and I should write up the pattern so other people can knit them, because I'm really proud of them, and I feel like, you know, maybe other people would like to knit this pattern too. So then I decided to make a 2nd sample for 2 reasons. One, because I wanted a sample in a nicer yarn. I couldn't find the same dye lot of the Woolies white yarn that I used for the finishing of it. So some of it's a different color, and they're also like a little bit too big on me. I didn't really understand how much negative ease I would need to make this much fabric like cling to my leg. So once the first ones didn't fit, I like really sat down and, you know, did some research and worked with the numbers and figured out how to make enough negative ease in here for them to stand up. I think in these ones I may also do some rounds of like elastic thread in here just to cinch them in for while I'm dancing, so that they like for sure stay put. But yeah, so I use these for ballet if it's winter and I'm going to and from the studio. It's really nice to be able to like put on a whole pair of leggings without having to like disrupt your like leotard skirt situation. I really like having them for that. And then I've also been wearing them to school. In case you didn't know, I'm an elementary teacher in Minneapolis public schools, and I teach 3rd grade, and I get to school at 7 in the morning, and it's really cold. And I also do recess duty because we're like understaffed. So I have to sit outside for 30 minutes of my day at school, but still dress like professionally. You're shaking the table, babe. And where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so I bring these to school with me if I wear a dress, and then I put them on my legs and I'm like super toasty. And I did that today because I wanted to wear a skirt because it was class picture day. So I wear the Legwarmers with it. You can sit down on my lap, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I know. Okay, I think that's all my finished objects. No, it's not. There's one more. So I guess it was 5. The other thing I made, sorry, these have not been blocked. I literally finished them like 5 minutes before we started recording. But these are the Roddin mitts. Oh my gosh, girl. The Roddin mitts by, okay, sorry. I have to leave this out for you because I got to pick up the pattern. The Roddin mitts by who? Excuse me. Oh, by Ysolda. Ysolda knits or just Ysolda? I feel like I've heard Ysolda knits. Anyway, It's a super pretty pattern. My printer's like kind of messed up, but this is basically what they should look like when they're blocked. So I'm looking forward to that. And they're this really, really nice fingerless gloves that I made just kind of on a whim. I had realized that I'd bought in some Patons classic worsted, and with the hopes that it could go with that brown wool alpaca blend I have that I think I showed in the last episode. But this was just too thick. So I was like, I don't want to use it for that. What else can I use it for? And then one day while I was supervising recess, sometimes I'll like knit while I'm supervising recess so that I can like just kind of hang out with the kids and relax and get ready for an afternoon of teaching. So my hands were getting cold, but I still wanted my fingers out, so I looked for fingerless mitts. Basically, they can be worn either up like this or folded over like this if you want your fingers to be a little bit more accessible. And this is, in the Aran colorway. And I've used this yarn before when I knitted all those Christmas ornaments a couple years ago. And so I knew I really liked working with it. It's a very dry wool. Not like, I wouldn't call it like rustic. I just think it's not super smooth and like slick feeling like superwash is. And it feels drier than other wools. I don't know how to explain that very well. But it has this really nice increased detail on the hand, which puts your thumb slightly forward, which is really like a good thought. A good amount of thought went into this because, like, obviously as humans, like most of us have hands where the thumb is like partly on the side of our hand, but not like this. It's like here. So this kind of reflects that anatomy really well. And I have really liked wearing them so far. I have thought about the fact that they're white, and you know, I can be known for having I'm like a sweaty person, so I can have sweaty hands. So I'm not sure how long they'll stay white, but I also know that this yarn like washes out pretty well, so I'm not that worried about it. One thing that is like a slight wish or regret about this is I wish I had taken the time to reverse the ribbing and then reverse the mitt, and I'll kind of describe what I mean here. Although the fold over means that inside's on the outside, so I don't know. Anyways, when I do ribbing every single time now, I knit the 1x1 rib all the way to where it needs to be. So I like started here and then knit to here, but I did that inside out. So then when I got to this point, I did a German short row turn and made the inside the outside. And that's because my purl stitches are tighter than my knit stitches, which I think has something to do with the way that I like retension the yarn after switching the side of the yarn. It just pulls more on the purl side. So my purl stitches are tighter and they look so much prettier. I have a thing about loose ribbing. It's like one of my knitting icks. And I'm like hypercritical of my ribbing. So I did that. But then when I got to the 2x2 section, I didn't think about the fact, get down. Get down. I didn't think about the fact that the knit stitches on the 2x2 ribbing would be on the outside then, and in the end it worked out okay, but I was like, I kind of wish I just knitted these whole things inside out and switched where the knits and purls are so that the, you know, the knit side of this rib would be on the outside, because if I just knitted them straight up inside out, this is not as pretty. So I would have had to like reverse where the stitches are on all the ribbing to like completely knit it inside out. So I don't know. Yeah, but those are my Roddin mitts. I'm excited to see how much nicer they look when they're blocked, because right now, I mean, like, look at these thumbs. This looks like terrible. Okay, those are all my finished objects. Things that I have on my needles right now. You guessed it, the beach dress still isn't done. I have been working on it though. I made a bead order and I added a bunch of beads to it. And I completed the, you know, the intersection here of the different triangles. It's almost like a scallop because of the increases here. And now I'm just like contemplating how much longer I want it to be, how wide I want it to be at the hem. I tried it on yesterday, but I tried it on like over my clothes because I was cold and I didn't want to like strip down like I would if I was wearing like a bikini and put it on. But I think I'm going to have to if I want to see how it's going to lie. But I wasn't super happy with the way it looked when I put it on yesterday. So I'm trying to figure out, do I want to add more increases at the hemline to make it really like fluttery? Do I want, how many more rows of beads do I want? How much yarn do I have left? All these great things. It's not dinner time. This is why I usually film in the bedroom, is because when I'm out here, she misbehaves about her dinner because her food bowls are right here. So it's like on her mind. Please don't get up there. Thank you. But I like the like background in here better. I think the lighting is better, and my desk chair is really, really comfortable for me because of my like spinal fusion and everything, but it's also like super old and super beaten up, so I don't love having it in the frame. This is my beach dress, so I'm trying to figure out, it's almost done. I'm just trying to figure out in what way it's almost done and how I'm going to bind it off, what else I want to do. I've spent a lot of time on this project, so now I want it to be really nice when I'm done with it. Please don't. No. She's reaching the end of her patience with me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, so plans. I am planning to get to the end of my Rauma sweater. I don't actually have that out with me right now, but I'll show you in the next episode. I plan to record again soon. I'm planning to finish my Rauma sweater. I'm going to have 2 sleeves, and I am going to start on the body, and then it'll be time to join for the yoke. So I'm super motivated to work on that because I'm very excited to do that color work yoke. I really want that done, and I really want to get to wear that because I think it'll be so nice to have that really beautiful but also like lightweight woolen sweater. Please do not jump up there. Yeah. I'm sorry, it's really distracting. I would also really like to fix something. So I mentioned earlier today, my dog likes to chew up woolens, and she lives with my parents. So right now, all of this stuff is out because she can't get to it. No. And this one makes like biscuits and woolens. So she's a little less damaging. Anyways, my sweet little poodle chewed a hole in my Oslo hat that not only, it was not a fingering weight hat. This is a lace weight hat knit with 1 strand of Isager. No. Isager. That's what I hear Handmade by Florence say. I'll say Isager mohair. and 1 strand of alpaca 1 to make this like really, really nice fabric. And I left it, I think, at the hospital when I was visiting for something last year. And then my family brought it home for me and they left it out and my dog chewed a hole in it. So I was really heartbroken because I spent so much time knitting this, and it's really special yarn from my trip to Seattle to see my friend who's also named Rachel and her boyfriend Tony, and we had such a great week, and we went to this yarn shop and I picked up this yarn. It's like a souvenir, and I thought like a hat project would be perfect. I just had to modify the gauge a little bit, but it was easy. And then the hole. So I've tried a couple times to do, what's it called? It's the knitting darning. I want to say it's called like Swedish darning. I'm not sure if that's true. It's called Norwegian darning, German darning. I don't know. But this fabric is just too fuzzy and the hole is just too big and I'm just not good enough at it. So I decided instead, I really want this back. I wore it to school the other day, even with a hole in it, and I got so many compliments. So I went through and took my US size 2 needles, which is what I knitted it on a dish initially. Picked up all the stitches underneath where the hole is, and then I'm going to go through and pick up all the stitches above where it is so that I can knit the 1.5 inches that has the hole in it, re-knit it with my leftovers, and then graft it together and I'll have a hat again. So that is probably the next thing I'm going to do because I'm going to need a hat soon. It's supposed to get down to like 33 degrees tonight, and I don't know whether or not I'm going to dance tomorrow morning, but it could be pretty freaking cold. So I'm going to need a hat soon, and I think this will be the priority, and then the sweater. And then when I finish doing this, I have a whole other thing of this mohair. So my plan is to knit the rest of this into a small like triangle scarf to just fill in some of the neck space by my coat, and then I'll have like a little matching set in this kind of pearly yarn. I'm sorry, I'm losing the light here, so you can't really tell. It's 5:30 and the sun's going down. Thanks, October. So this will happen. This will happen soon. And then my Rauma sweater, and then when I'm finished with both of those, I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I said, please, no, not you too. It's fragile. I said I was going to talk about my knitting approach, right? So in my last episode, you saw that like in my thumbnail, I took a picture. No. Come on. Do you want to sit with me? No, I don't. Oh, I took a picture of all my whips and the little finished bunny sitting on top, and I was like, it really stresses me out to have a lot of projects going at the same time. I would rather, and this is a try, this is not like an I'm going to do this, but I want to become somebody who just does one project and finishes it like within the span of 6 months instead of like without it. So I'm going to try being like a monogamous knitter again, and not totally. Like, I think if I have something that has finishing to do, but I want a simple thing to bring with me, like I'm okay to start on another project that has simple stuff as I finish the finishing steps of my previous project. Or if it's like the beach dress and I have decisions to make, I will like let that sit because I think that waiting and making a decision is like way better than having to like frog back and stuff. So I'm going to try doing just one project at a time, see how that works for me. The only exception to this, like I said, having a simpler project I think is good for me. So if I want to make scrap or things with scraps to use them up and get them out of my buckets here, I'm allowing myself to make either stars or bunnies, because I think you can never have too many stars, and bunnies, I think I'm thinking about bringing them into my classroom as just like, you know, you can take a bunny and like read your book with it or whatever. So I could use more bunnies. And stars, I like them. They're a really nice scrap busting project, and I think they make a super cute like hanging decoration and possibly like gifts. Yeah, we'll see. Now she's scratching the chair. I better wrap this up. Yeah, so those are my recent knits. That's my goal going forward. Let me know if you're interested in seeing this come together with the Stella quilt cushion. Let me know what you're working on. Let me know if you wash in the washing machine pure silk, because I really want to, but I'm like scared to. But also, like I said, I'm kind of sweaty, so being able to wash a t-shirt would be really nice. Yeah, I think that's all I've got for you today, and I'm hoping it won't be another like month before the next episode. I didn't tell you what happened with the ballet, did I? I was intending to not do Romeo and Juliet with my ballet school, but then I got asked to be Lady Montague, Romeo's mom, and I was like, sure, it's a walk-on. I can make time. I don't have to come to like all the 14 hours of rehearsal every weekend. And then he said, well, actually, could you do Rosalind instead? And can you do a duet with me on stage, even though you've never done a duet before? And can you also like do all these like acting scenes and climb onto like a, funeral stretcher and do all this stuff? So I had to do a lot with dance. And then after that, I got COVID, and then before that, I lost my voice because I was sick. So I'm hoping the next one will be like a smoother ride, but we'll see, I guess. I need to go because I need to... Pan, that's about to fall down. Because I need to go take care of some behavior. I will see you next time. Yeah. Bye.